All right, as the Clinton controversy grows, is there an opening now for Vice President Joe Biden to launch a campaign? A new Quinnipiac University survey shows Biden is performing as well or better than Hillary Clinton in hypothetical head-to-head matchups in key swing states. Biden has spent the summer in seclusion following the death of his son, Beau. He's reportedly been deciding whether he has enough money and support to launch a campaign. Yesterday, he met with Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, and he is expected to make a decision very soon. Joining us now, Josh Alcorn, a close friend of the Bidens and senior advisor for Draft Biden 2016, a super PAC hoping to get the vice president into the race. Josh, good to see you.
Great to be here. Thank you, Shannon.
All right, you have said, quote, this isn't about Hillary Clinton, but given what we just talked about, why not? Would the vice president be considering this if there wasn't this opening, potentially a lot of trouble for her campaign?
Well, I'll say it again. This isn't about anybody currently in the Democratic primary race. This is really about Joe Biden. This is about, look, I mean, he's run for president before. He knows the process he has to go through. He knows that the American people, I think, are looking for authenticity in their presidential candidates this year, and that's Joe Biden. He's the original authentic candidate.
Okay, you know you're starting at a disadvantage with some key things you need to succeed here. Money. When you put together Hillary Clinton's campaign and outside groups were supporting her, she's got about $70 million reportedly backing her. Bernie Sanders has done a lot of very surprising fundraising as well. So you start from zero, and the first debate's only a few weeks away. How do you get up to speed? Well,
that's the great thing about Draft Biden is that we've been around since March, and we have a grassroots list of about 200,000 people that's growing every day. So we may not have the financial resources, but we certainly have a groundswell of support. I've traveled the country over the last 3 weeks talking to potential supporters, to donors, to activists, and they're enthusiastic to see Joe Biden in this race.
Okay, what's your timeline? First debate on the DNC side is October 13th.
Yeah, I mean, I think the vice president, having him on that debate stage is an important part of the campaign, and so his decision will be what his decision is, and his timeline will be what his timeline is. It's not my job to speculate on that, but having him on that debate stage will be important.
Okay, so yesterday I'm on the train from New York to D.C. We pick up a very important passenger in Wilmington.
Yeah.
So I see the vice president is on. We thought he was going to be in Wilmington for the weekend. I see with my own eyes he's going to be in D.C. Our White House producer was on a plane with Elizabeth Warren, the senator, from Boston to D.C. They both arrived about 11, and then we find out that they're meeting.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
I mean, I don't know what they talked about. What I do know is that the vice president has, he's got his core inner circle of people, and over the last couple of weeks we've seen reported on this channel and other media outlets that he's kind of expanding outside of that small circle of advisors and family. He's sounding out people in early states, activists, potential supporters. He's talking to someone like Elizabeth Warren, who's got, I think, important, incredible ideas on how to make the economy work for everyone. And I think it's no surprise that he would want to talk to somebody like that. I mean, Joe Biden's been fighting for the middle class for his entire elective career, and talking with her, I think, is just another way to get some more ideas.
Well, of course, it raised speculation about whether they would join forces on a ticket. Biden-Warren 2016?
You'll have to let the vice president talk about that. I'm not here to speculate on his actual campaign.
Okay, so let's talk about a few things that are potential critiques for him not getting in the race. I want to get your response. His age. He would be the oldest incoming president in history at 74 on Inauguration Day.
I don't think that's an issue at all. I mean, just look at Joe Biden. He's the kind of guy who, I mean, when I was on his campaign in 2008, we had to block time out every morning for the gym. I mean, he's there every day. What you have with Joe Biden is a guy who kind of feeds off of the energy of the people around him. So I don't think that age is an issue at all.
Okay, over on the GOP side, the people who are doing the best are these outsiders, non-politician Washington outsiders. He's been here for decades. So how does he address that concern?
Well, I don't think that the people on the Republican side who are doing well are doing well because they're outsiders. I think that there's this sense in the American electorate now that they want a candidate who could look him in the eye, tell him what he thinks or she thinks the issues of the day are, and what they would do to move our country forward. And that's Joe Biden. He's been doing that for years.
Okay, he lost in 1988 and 2008 in his presidential runs. What would be different this time around?
Again, I mean, I think it's what people are looking for. President Obama in 2008 won because he was kind of he embodied what the American electorate wanted, which was change, which was moving forward. I think, Biden has that, the vice president has that now.
Okay, let's talk about some polling that has been very good for him. He's not even in the race, and he's showing up double digits in some important states like Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania. Let's talk about Ohio, obviously usually a bellwether for presidential elections. There, when you look at trustworthiness, the numbers show People, 59% think he's trustworthy, and that's in contrast to 60% who do not think Secretary Clinton is trustworthy. He also does well there when you go on head-to-head matchups. He beats Donald Trump there by 10 points, and other top contenders more narrowly, but he does come in over Jeb Bush by 3 points, and Marco Rubio as well. He leads him by a couple points in that very important state as well. So is that added incentive, these poll numbers, for him to get in?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go, down this polling number line here. Early polls this early out are incredibly unreliable. I think what's important here is that the folks that have gone to draftbiden2016.com and signed our petition to want to see Joe Biden in the race, they want to see Joe Biden in the race. They're in Florida, they're in Ohio, they're in Nevada, they're in South Carolina, they're all over the country. And that's really what matters, is the folks who want to see him in this race.
Speaking of which, we've heard stories that his late son, Beau, wanted to see him run, was encouraged. You are a close friend of the family and have worked very closely with Beau as well.
Yeah.
Do you feel that the vice president has had sufficient time to grieve? Because you know a presidential campaign is so grueling. And do you think that he would be pressed into service, as it were, by anything that he heard from Beau before his death?
I know Beau wanted his dad to be president. I know that he wanted that in 1988. He wanted that in 2008. I think that the vice president and the Biden family generally has seen, has had a firsthand, had a firsthand view of what it takes to be president and the strains that puts on your family. And I think the vice president is, weighing that as part of, his deliberative process.
Well, we hope you'll keep us up to date.
Sure will.
The time is closing on us fast. Josh Alcorn, great to see you today. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.